Welcome to this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. This is my weekly video where I take a look at the top 3 comics that I'm looking forward to reading on New Comic Book Day. And New Comic Book Day this week is going to be September 20th, 2023. And for the first time in a long time, there are a lot of comics on my list. There's over 10 titles this week. Check out the full pull list, everything I'm picking up at my local comic shop this week in the description of the video below. There's a lot of titles that did not make it this week because there are so many, but are still really good reads. This week actually looks to be a really good week for picking up titles. For example, the first issue of Wonder Woman comes out this week, and it's written by Tom King. If you're a Tom King fan, which I am, I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with there. There's a few titles that are wrapping up this week. All 3 of my titles on my top 3 this week are actually coming from Image Comics. I don't know that that's ever happened where all 3 of my favorite reads, or at least choices for my favorite reads this week, are all out from Image, so that's kind of interesting. There's also this continuation of Stranger Things, which is one of my favorite indie reads as we head towards that last season of the show. It's kind of fun to keep up with the Stranger Things comics that they've been releasing, especially this Tales from Hawkins one-shot. But let's take a look at those top 3 comics that I am looking forward to picking up this week. Starting off at number 3 this week is going to be Fishflies, issue number 2. This is written by Jeff Lemire. I am a fan of his Sweet Tooth series, and I feel like this is very reminiscent of that. There is some kind of weird, magical, mystical creature that's showing up known as a fish fly. And if you are not familiar with what fish flies are, one of my side hobbies is fishing, and there's actually a type of bug. I think the Latin term is something like Hexagena limbata or something, but these bugs come out in force once a year in the Midwest of the United States plus other regions, but so thick sometimes that there are cities that are just overran by these bugs. And Jeff Lemire, who grew up I think in Ontario, experienced this, and he's writing a supernatural story about it. At least that's what it appears so far. We'll jump into issue 2 this week and continue this story that I find very intriguing and worth picking up. And coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Big Game issue number 3. This is Mark Miller's Millerverse, where he is giving us all of his characters in this big crossover event that's coming out from Image Comics and specifically from Millerverse. He has some rights deal that he has worked with Netflix, so I'm always curious if some of this content may eventually end up on Netflix. We'll see what happens, but here we are seeing a lot of his comics crossover. To be quite frank, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there have been a lot of characters getting killed off, just to give you a warning. So as we head into issue number 3, basically what we're seeing is there are villains who are controlling Earth, but no one knows because there was like this mind wipe that occurred back in the 1980s, and the good guys, the superheroes, were all wiped out. And now there's a whole new breed of superheroes that are cropping up, and the villains realize that the only way to take care of business is to get rid of the new crop of superheroes. And so far they've been doing a good job. So check out Big Game issue number 3 if you are a fan of Mark Miller and his universe that he's put together. I've thought it has been a good read so far. And number 1 this week, Nocterra issue number 16. We have hit the finale, and I am so excited to see what we're going to get in this last issue. The entire series has been amazing. From what I understand, it has already had some rights sold to have it created or turned into a TV show. I think maybe Netflix bought the rights to that. It is a fun read. Scott Snyder has given this series a ton of action. There is a definite sci-fi arc mixed with maybe a little bit of supernatural, but really it's, I don't want to give away too much of the story if you've never read it, but the Earth goes into darkness, and it ends up, eventually we find out that there is a race of aliens involved, and I think I'll stop there and let you read the rest. But Tony S. Daniel does the artwork. I think he did every issue, if I remember correctly, and just amazing artwork. You've got good story, good art. I just think this has been a great series, and I'm excited to see how they will close it out this week. If you noticed, I've got a lot of Batman paraphernalia today, going back behind and on the TV over here. But the point is that it is Batman Day. If you didn't go snag some of your free comics for Batman Day, maybe your LCS will hang around onto some of them by Wednesday, the next new comic book day, I don't know. Today I'm actually recording this video on Batman Day and hoping to make it out to a comic shop soon so I can grab a copy. And happy Batman Day. Other than my shirt, I've got lots of Batman stuff going on. My shirt I'm wearing because Ahsoka this week was so good. Great episode. If you're not watching Ahsoka and you're a Star Wars fan, why not? You gotta go catch up on the entire side story of Ahsoka, Clone Wars, Anakin. They're just an amazing series, I think, going on there too. We definitely have great content if you are a sci-fi Star Wars fan going on. And with that being said, thanks for watching this week's episode. Remember to read them, bag them, and board them. We'll see you next time.